Has there been any negative feedback for you at all on there? That's great. This guy had over 400 posts about how awful he was on over 160 different blogs. And yet he didn't realize he can comment back about that because they had a warped point of view of where he was coming from. So we created a blog where he could pour out his heart about what was going on with situations, and it worked. Ford has 6 blogs right now. They actually have the CEO of internet blogging. They had a fan base, a fan member that they had been dealing with over 3 years through their attorneys because he was selling parts illegally. Well, they sent a cease and desist order, which he put on his blog, and he's got 11.5 million people viewing his blog. And he said, listen to how bad Ford is, what they're doing against me. And they saw that, and they were able to post on their blogs, to his blog, in the comment section, about the whole 3-year cycle of problems that they've been dealing with this guy on, and shut him down within a day. Nobody believed this guy. That's the problem with online. You will lose your credibility as somebody finds something untrue that you've posted on there. Cool. It's hard to build up trust, just like in the real world, but it's faster to lose it. So if you're not out there competing against people who are spreading lies about you, you're going to lose the battle. So you have to be on there. And part of blogging is not just putting your thoughts out there, but commenting on other people's blogs and interlinking. And that actually is a great organic way to increase your SEO as well. For your own company, your own names, your tagging as well. And I also found out that for your pictures you post on there, use capital letters, especially on blogs, for the name of each picture. Google and Yahoo and Bing will find that first when they send their search bots out for information. They look at capital letters first, not just the information, just the name. So if you capitalize the letters on each of your pictures, and you name your pictures, not just .0128.jpg, but actually name them, that actually has a greater chance of increasing your exposure to the search bots out there, especially with WordPress. And that was rather surprising. World of Warcraft, MMOs, you can skip that one. Virtual worlds. There's actually the Association of Virtual Worlds is on meme.com. Join it, AVN. There's people around the world who are working on virtual worlds right now, and they share information freely on that place. It's great. I met David, who created that on Meme at the Login conference, and he's gotten just a ton of work through that. Just talking about what he's doing. When I worked for Humanity Online on artificial intelligent avatars last year for marketing, we put up a page on that. They actually got some jobs out of that, and they never updated anything. That page now is static, unfortunately. But there's a great community on there. Second Life had, of course, all freedom. We found out that people don't want freedom. They don't know what to do with it. And there.com made everything PG-rated material. So Coke and Cosmo Bro, which had worlds on Second Life, pulled them from Second Life and put them to there.com just because they didn't want to be associated with Second Life and the negative publicity that was going on in Second Life with issues of sex and other stuff that people were doing on there. So Second Life now, the most popular thing to do on Second Life is ESL, English as a Second Language. There are people going online to meet other people, and virtual conferences. Businesses are using Second Life for virtual conferences now, and virtual interviews, especially in the online gaming world. So next one down, a review one, podcast and live stream. The Miller brothers, Chris Miller, who was here, they did their first live stream event 2 weeks ago, and just talking about their book. They had 100 people online watching them and asking questions. You know, for any of your games you're working on, you want to reach out to your audience, do a live stream event. It's free. You know, they want to see who you are. You can ask questions and get great feedback through that. It's another useful tool. And let's see here. Social games. 2.25 billion a year now. And we're going to clip 20% annually. Dinner Dash is a great one. And actually kind of interesting now is that there are companies now licensing these for board games because they're so popular online. And so Hasbro signed a license with Electronic Arts back in 2007 to have all their board game content done as a casual game because Electronic Arts realized that they screwed up and not concentrating on this marketplace. And so Monopoly will be an online social casual game we can do here pretty soon. So will sorry, and what was the one that you could push down and the dice pulled up?
Trouble.
Trouble.
Oh, you shook it.
Boggle you shook together. Trouble is the one you push down and popped up. Yeah, that's going to be an online social game you can do. So you can play with grandma Trouble online. You're pretty simple electronic arts. So doing that. Nope, my computer's slow. So that's the overview right now of the whole social gaming, social online world. But every day it changes. Now the question is, how can we use that? I mean, Club Penguin's obviously using it to a certain degree.
Use it more.
Avvo.com, personal people in Seattle, they were formed 2 years ago because the gentleman who was a multi-millionaire who kept on asking him, what's a great attorney to use? He put up a site, licensed it to attorneys so that you guys could rate the performance of the attorney that you just hired to work for you. If it allows a job, you rate them lower. If they did a great job, they rate them higher. And the attorneys had no input into that. They got sued by 2 high-powered attorneys in Seattle, because they're based in Seattle, and it went all the way to the Washington State Supreme Court, who ruled in favor of Avvo.com, saying, you have the right to free speech. If you did a bad job and somebody says so about it, tough, deal with it. So Avvo just blew up after that. They're in every major city now, and attorneys now are bidding and paying for the right to be on Avvo.com to answer personal questions. So you as a person can go on Avvo.com and type in a real legal question, how do I do this, or what about this, or intellectual property law, and attorneys will answer your question for you to promote themselves. What was interesting though is attorneys hate social media. They now have to concentrate on PR. And because of that, Avvo has an ad on Craigslist as of a month ago to hire a social media expert. They want somebody who's had 15 years experience in social media, which is impossible. They want an MBA, 7 years of marketing, and they're willing to pay $120,000 a year. And they don't know how to answer. It hasn't been around for 15 years, other than email. So there's companies out there desperately needing this, and I see them on Craigslist ads. I've met them at social media clubs. The best use of social media right now is radio stations. They're getting hit and hammered left and right with satellite radio, online radio. You know, nobody's listening to them, and they're shutting themselves down. So they're using social media right now, blogs, especially the talk show radio hosts. And they're microblogging while they're doing their performance while they're talking. And Cairo has just gotten a huge share. In fact, they have the largest listening audience online and on radio in the Seattle area right now. 500,000 listeners, and another 500,000 more online following the talk show hosts. And they're using Facebook for that. And they pay tons of money for it. So the interesting though is television news has not caught up with that. And you think they would be the leading figures in the industry. There are companies out there now that will hire people for microblogging purposes, and you don't even have to know about the subject matter. $18 an hour. And all you have to do is post a blog once every 30 minutes. And they'll tell you what to blog about. And it could be fly fishing. You don't know how to do fly fishing. That's okay. They just want your thoughts or an article about fly fishing, and they turn around and sell that to companies who specialize in fishing. They can put that on their blog because they don't know how to do content. Yeah.
Aren't you sort of describing the eventual end of social media though? Like what was valuable about it was when the content was meaningful. When it becomes pure marketing, then that's why people leave.
But what we're seeing that as a trend is that the large places, you're right, they will leave, but they'll find some place that is more focused and niche for them, that has actual true believers. So I expect to see Facebook become the next white pages online.